out goes the powerhouse, and the COVID-19-Man has come to deliver you from the empty land, from the ones who have been silenced to the promised land of the other bed, which is the original place for the soul of a man, where he can now get his jubilee and abide safe like he's never been, in the power of the Father, in the powerhouse, cause that's what World Electric, Davar is the only bed we're connected. World Electric, Davar in the powerhouse, we're connected. Truth in the Torah where it is, that's right. And whether you like it or not, I just don't give a damn, cause in this thing the end is gonna be for sure. It's got a date before the song began to score. This ain't no lie, we about to fly, cause in the truth there's nothing that can be denied. Here's the COVID-19-Man is hooking you up to the other bed, to the powerhouse, with you waving. The COVID-19-Man is gonna hook you up, cause that's what World Electric, Davar in the other bed we're connected. World Electric, Davar to no one else I'm genuflecting. World Electric, Davar to the powerhouse I'm connected. And then I want to get your power back, cause you will find in there the powerhouse not scared. You won't be silenced, nobody can touch what you will find in there. Gets to cut the masking back of lies, the righteous now they cries, cause the COVID-19 is gonna hook you up to the powerhouse. Live the power show, ride this mule around. Hello, my fellow Davarians. Welcome once again. I meant to share this yesterday, but it was kind of busy, and couldn't finish doing it. I had to. The volume wasn't in the right position, so I had to wait until today to share it. But I'm sharing it even if it's kind of late. This is something that we talk about. You know, the word, where the word grace came from, originated. Who was the inspiration for the word grace? We're going to talk about that today. You know, that's something that's very applicable for our time, because we need to be integral, wholesome, complete. You know, just like Noah was. Okay, and we're going to find something more about that today. You know, we're going to study in depth into that. So, without further ado, let me take you to the main portrait here. All right, my fellow Davarians, it's good to have you. Welcome once again. You know, this is something that I shared on Sunday, and I recorded it, put it together, but I had to remaster it a couple of times because the sound was off. So that's why it took me so long to share it, but I'm going to share it with you today. So we're looking, like it says here, you know, which mindset controls you? Torah or Harlot'S control? And put the Harlot one because I almost spell like Torah backward. You know, Torah and the Harlot, but put the L, and then you had Harlot'S. But it's pretty much, so I'd like to make it a play on words, so we're going to take a look at this right now. So are you Torah control or Harlot control? You know, what moves you to do the things? And the thing is, you're connected to the nature of God, of being breath and being spirit, and you know, embody that functionality of the breath. You're going to be Torah control, because you're going to be here to display the character of the breath of God there, because you're a neshama, you know, an offspring from his breath, you know, so you're going to display that. But if you're not here, you're trained to have the harlot forehead, the mindset of a whore, and that's what the word harlot means, okay? So we're going to be looking into that, but also let me take you to the main window here. So before we start talking, you know, so we have an idea. I have to introduce you here. All right, you see. All right, to my main window here, just to see the display of the channel. So we're with HDTV 28. You know, we're clearing the waters. We're keeping, you know, the spreading of the Torah as it should be. You know, to take us to the connectedness. You understand? That's what the word Torah means. I shared that before. the tab, the vav, the resh, the hey, you know, the commitment to connect, first of all, to his breath. Or first of all, the commitment to connect to the mindset of his breath. The breath talks about spirit. So the commitment for us to connect, to have a mindset of spirituality, looking at everything from the functionality of the spirit, because God is spirit, you know, and in many ways, you know, he sees that everything, just like the air is manifested everywhere, anywhere that the alphabet can be named and is functioning, that is the consciousness of air as well. And that is our inheritance. And that's what the Torah goes, allows us to go see things from the perspective of where the air is found, from where the alphabet is found. So we're not just left cooped up in this body of flesh. We are here and ready for a consciousness expansion, and the Torah is the vehicle by which you can make it and you can connect that. So the word Torah, that's what it means, the commitment to stay connected, first of all, to this breath, first of all, to be spiritual. And mitzvot, which are the commandments, Torah, by the way, is translated in English as law, you know, but it doesn't make it justice because each letter explains the functionality. And mitzvot, you know, are the solution for those desiring, you know, to stay connected to the spirit. Okay, so if you have solutions, you have desire to stay connected, you know, to his spirit. That's why you get the word mitzvah, the solutions for that. And so the whole idea is for us to be spiritual beings, to be in the mindset of the air, because the air is the one that constantly feeds us all flesh 24/7. So when we are just for the sake here to connect with the character of God and his functionality, that's what we do. And we're going to find something amazing in the character of Noah as we read today, because Noah was quite a character, and that's what I'm going to be sharing with you here. So this is the next step. I'm going to just play the whole thing, you know, so just pay attention and let's learn something from the life of the righteous Noah, you know, why he was so precious. And you learn why God named the word grace, you know, because of him. So you learn and you connect all of this. But the whole idea is connectedness, my friend. Let nothing else be taken away from you but those that guide you to the connecting of your maker in the now. Because we were made, you know, the reality, let me write it here, because I forgot to write this, but it says, part of what it goes here. Our only reality, you know, is connectedness and just connectedness and nothing else but connectedness. For spirituality in the here and now and not in heaven or hell or anywhere else. So let me repeat that again before I start playing. Our only reality for you and I is connectedness and just connectedness and nothing else but connectedness. To what? To the breath of God, because that's what Torah means, to be connected to his breath. And that was the mitzvah, is to desire you to connect you to the nature of the functionality of his breath. So our only reality is connectedness and just connectedness and nothing else but connectedness for spirituality in the here and now and not in heaven or hell or anywhere else. So anybody else that tried to sell you any kind of other relationship with the alphabet or some other way else, they're robbing you of the experience what you were made to have in the here and now. So, you know, they have fallen short to give you your true heritage. All right? But, okay, just making sure I'm on with you because I don't see the line here. Okay, oh, there you are. Okay, so now, with no further ado, let me take you once again to the cinema here so you will see what I'm talking about, what I share, you know, the fellowship that we had on Sunday here, and the sermon that I delivered, you know, from the life of Noah. All right, here we go. I just got out of the Smart and Final right now. Got my celery sticks for this week. All right. The paper I need for my job. I'm out of paper. And I got carrots. This week I'm putting carrots in it. So I got my carrots. There we go. So I'm busy juicing with celery and carrots. So that's gonna work out. I like to walk because it clears my thoughts. And right now that I got out,
was thinking one more thing that I need to say before you get into the message that you need to understand. The word Torah has the word as the Vav in it for connectedness. It's the tab, for the objective or the target or the commitment or the contract. Because that's what the Torah is, an objective, target, a commitment, and a contract. Because it's the owner's manual. So, and then he has the Vav for connectedness, for connecting or hooking up. So it's the objective for the connectedness, and then he has the Resh for the head, which means the mindset, foremost, the mindset of the maker. And then ends up with a Hey, which is for breath, for which our spark of life comes from the breath of God. That's what we get our neshama. So we need to connect to the functionality of air, because the functionality of air is to always keep everything revive and alive, restore, renew. And so that's the whole idea. So so the tab, the Vav, the Resh, and the Hey, which is Torah. So I like to put the Aleph between the Resh and the Hey. So what it means is just going by the functionality of the letters, is the commitment, the contract, or objective, or the connectedness to the mindset, of fortification of the breath, or the strengthening of the breath. And breath stands for spirit, for air. And that's what spirit is all about. So people want to be spiritual. That means you want to acquire the functionality of air, the functionality of being one that restores, refreshes, and renews everything around you, from your fellow men to the Torah and everything else that came from the alphabet. That's what you need. So this is the owner's manual to get you back into the source from where you spring. You came out of the breath of God. You came out of the kiss of God, if you please. You kissed into his nostrils. You kissed out of the kiss of God. You were born as your breath, and then you need to sustain the functionality of the breath of the Spirit of God. And that's what the Torah is all about. It's the commitment or the contract, the goal of the connectedness of the mindset, of being spiritual, have strong spirituality. All right, and then the word mitzvah has the word connectedness there also. Okay, it's the solutions, for the desire for connectedness to his breath, to his spirituality. So the Torah and the mitzvot, which is translated commandments, and the Torah is translated law. So the law and the commandments, or the Torah and the mitzvot, is all about connectedness, because we're supposed to be one with the source of our being, which is the breath of God, which is the Spirit. So to connect to his Spirit is the main goal for which we were created. We came out of the breath, and we need to go back to it and stay connected in his functionality. That way, when we establish that connectedness, there's a consciousness expansion in us. And we look everything from his perspective, from his point of view. And so don't let anybody try to, in this world, from any religion or any political persuasion, try to tell you there's anything else that you need to get other than that connectedness that puts you back into the source. So anybody wants to give you a heaven to go, that's not what you were made for. We were made for connectedness. If someone want to give you a better promotion to get in this world, that's not the reason why you were made for. You were made for connectedness. Anything else that tries is a payment. It's nothing but a harlotly wishes. It's an idolatry that God did not create it. It's an abodasara, which is a foreign service that he did not invent it. So keep that in mind. So because I'm going to talk about being a harlot or being in the Torah. Giving your love because you're enamel, showing off the character of God, who is love, for all the things he has made, or giving your love for pay. And for pay will mean for anything else that religion has to offer you. If your religion offers you that you were made for resurrection, all of that, you were made for connectedness, okay, to the Spirit. When you're a spirit, you resurrect every day. You bring everything to life. If you're in the animation, it's greater than being in resurrection, because you can resurrect everything. Everything can be restored, renewed, and refreshed. So don't let anybody give you anything else but connectedness to the mindset for the here and now, because that's our real heritage. And don't let anybody rob you of this. Okay, so that's what this message is going to be. Pay close attention.
How come we had to park a mile away.
I'm
There's
so
no
sorry about
parking.
that.
I said, oh, you're having a party.
Yeah. All right. So we're meeting today. Today's day, May 2nd, right? Man, we're May 2nd now.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a little feast today. Got the food from Rosales. We got some stuff from Pollo Campero I already got here. We got the flans from there. This one's over here. So,
little appetizer for the main dish, right?
yeah,
This is the
that's
best
fine.
one.
Yeah, we have that. Yeah, now look at that. That's the flan. Pollo Campero, the salad they have in there. So we have the yellow rice. These are like black beans, right?
Okay.
Black beans, frijolitos negros cubanos.
Where are we, Mama?
These are the chicken one, and that's the plantains there, platanitos maduros. And we're still waiting something from Church's Chicken that's coming. So, I'm a plethora of selection. All right, so we're working on that right now.
3 choices.
Yeah. All right. Let's have a little prayer for this.
Not 3.
All right. Dear Lord, we come before you today with grateful hearts to know that you have planted us in the Torah so that we may grow as as palm trees, like you Scripture says, as cedars of Lebanon, so that we may keep your word purified, Lord. We be plants prepared to keep the Torah, keep going in this generation. We thank you for the food that you have provided for us. May I ask that you will continue in this fellowship, that you will lift us up in the Torah today, and you keep us complete in the owner's manual. In Yehovah's name we ask, amen.
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 Right.
Amen or amen?
Either way is fine. He understands all languages. He's the master of all of them. Church chicken. Alright, church chicken. And then it's just a regular one with the biscuits, and then below that is like we did with the what's it called? Yeah, the apple pie dessert comes from there.
Apple pie deluxe.
Apple pie deluxe, yeah. So, chicken with fries and mashed potatoes.
Churches. we are the church, not a building with a steeple.
Mm-hmm.
Because the steeple comes from Egypt.
All right. So,
You need to learn history.
there you are. Oh, for the shipping here. Yeah. All right, close it.
20 minutes.
35 minutes or something.
Like 25 minutes.
It used to be an hour and a half, but it's just used it for a long time, so therefore, that went down.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, let me see something. Let's see here. Hold on a second.
To make it color?
Yes, to make it lower down.
Just look at the ones the cameras on the side. You see them? Yeah. They have 2 more. They have two. They have two. Yeah, one for like for high def. And there's some, and it has one right here too.
Are those cameras that I spy?
This one, yeah.
Some new ones that come out with,
That's supposed to be set up here like
all the
that.
technology is there.
Yeah, that's better.
Now people have to upgrade theirs. Once they notice the value, people buy
Just gonna put a little higher. So that it won't be too. Yeah,
Yeah, that one.
that's it. Yeah, that should be doing it. Right, alright then.
That'd be cool for the people.
Okay, so we're supposed to be recording. Alright. So here we go. Got it set up for yeah. Alright, so we're starting today. I can see myself over there. Alright, I'm doing alright. You got that on the this one I'm sharing also the screen so you can I can see both of them. Perfect. The other one I cannot see it, but I'm just guessing it's gonna be alright. Because it's going to be on wide angle anyhow. So we'll see which one works better. I just have I have with 2 cameras, we're backing it up today just in case you know, like the last time I did this,
No strings.
only had 1 camera and it was blurring in and out. So this time we have it set it up so, you know, everything should work okay. Alright, so today I'm looking at the topic called Torah control you spell the back of Torah, Harot, Harot control. Torah control or Harot control going backwards. And I like the Harot control. So now with the Torah control or Harot control, because you can think of, we were made to be controlled by the Torah because the Torah is the owner's manual for the alphabet. Okay? Alphabet in the Bible is called Father. And I explained this because God made it so simple, for us to understand Him, Because everybody agrees. I mean, it's no big science, rocket science to believe that all works, all books, all diagrams, everything comes from the alphabet. It's all taken, nobody even asks that. They're like, duh, of course, you look stupid saying that, but that's a fact, but no, because it's so much of a fact, nobody realizes how simple God has made it. Because He's calling Himself the alphabet. It's for you to understand, that since everything comes from the alphabet, what does that mean? All nations, I don't care where you come, all nations are forced to have a relationship with the alphabet. From an early age, they teach you. You have to learn the alphabet because they know once they learn the alphabet, that alphabet is a battery. Like I call it a powerhouse because it's a strong tower, that's the meaning of those two letters. So it's like a powerhouse. The entrance of that word give it light and they give it understanding unto the simple. The light is energy, The entrance of that word gives you electricity. That's why the song that I made up is where word dectric, abarectic, in the alphabet we're connected. He's the powerhouse, okay? And so once you put that alphabet inside of people, they're able to understand and communicate and do your agendas. So all nations love to give them the public education because all those years is just putting you the battery in you. Because you're going to be the manpower that's going to run all their economies. Plain and simple. So it's you, and once you have the alphabet in you, you are empowered to follow their instructions and be able to build their societies. And so the alphabet in you is what's going to get all the work done. And the alphabet is the Father. You understand? But they don't use the Torah to teach you the alphabet. Because the Torah teaches you the alphabet, which is Father, for you to acquire the character of a Father. Okay, so you are motivated to do things to show the love of a Father. That's what motivates you. You don't have any love to come and get out of this world, but you have all the love that you find in the alphabet, in the fact that the alphabet cares for all meanings and definitions. It doesn't discard them, and that what makes anybody activate anything. We know everything in the fullness of the meanings and definition, and that's exactly what you grow into. So you are prompted to do everything in this world because you are eager to show all the love that the alphabet has to take care, has to provide care for everything in this world. From souls on down to everything that has been manufactured and made by the alphabet. That is what motivates you, you see? And that's how perfect we are made. And only, you need to go to the back, but somebody shaking their head.
Too
many.
You already did. Okay. So I was saying, so that's the whole idea. So the thing is, what motivates us, what moves us and pushes forward, is the same thing that a parent does when you have children. A parent doesn't have children for the sake of, I'm going to think, this kid is going to make me rich, Maybe some people raised up in the welfare mentality might think that, see how many kids I get? Well, child paycheck is on its way, But actually you don't do that. The real parents, they want to take care of their kids and sacrifice themselves and make sure that they're better off than they were ever. So that's what motivates them is, love, pure love. Period. They're not expecting to get paid from the kids. As a matter of fact, what makes you feel like a good parent is how much you sacrifice yourself for them. And you didn't get anything in return. That's what makes you feel like a real parent. That's the greatest reward that a parent has. I gave my all for these kids, I went sleepless nights, I worked 2 jobs, 3 jobs, so they could have a college education, they could do all of this, and the fact that they didn't get any, that's the sacrifice, that's what the show of love is all about. So that really shows that they had the love for the kids. So that's exactly what God is, He's showing you that He's taking care of everything because that's His nature, to be love, to be the one that takes care, a love that does not ask for anything in return. Because there's a love that asks for something in return. So that's the Torah love. The love that comes from the Father. What I'm calling today is Torah control. You're controlled by the alphabet, owner's manual, right? or your Harlot, the reverse of that. And to this Harlot, I like it because you can think of, if you're not controlled by the Torah, you're going to be controlled by a remote control. Somebody is going to have a control, and they're going to be able to manipulate you with the little narratives. Every narrative of any religion is nothing but a remote control. Because the whole thing, to understand what you need to do, is inside of you. Just like we have a remote control for this thing, but the thing that I understand the remote control is the signal inside, the TV. You know what I'm saying? But you only get a remote control, and you're able to, to change it around, But the thing is the same with us. We have the alphabet in us, but the way nations teach you is that you have the alphabet. Now you're going to follow our agenda, and you're going to be motivated to do things by the money that we're going to pay you. That's what's going to move you. So then they control you. They give you a narrative, and that they have a remote control. But if you're in the Torah, you do not have a remote control. You know your agenda already. You were made in the image. You were made from the breath. You have a neshama. That means you came from the breath of the hay, the breath of God. Okay, so you have a spark of the divine in you. And so what you need to understand is if you were made in this, in the image of God, you came out from the breath, and that means you have the ability to function. The way we understand in the scriptures, God created the air and all that for us to understand the functionality. What the main functionality of air is to provide to us oxygen, to keep us alive, to keep us animated, to keep us restored, refreshed, renewed. That's the whole thing. That's the functionality of air. Okay? So when He made you to be a soul, He put you in this body of flesh. And this is the thing that you need to remember. Since you are a spark of the divine, you should never forget where you came from. The source from where you came from is breath, the spirit. It even says that in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, that you guys have heard before. God is spirit, and they that worship Him should worship Him in the hay and in truth. They worship in the spirit, in the breath, and in the truth, and truth being the Torah. Okay, so you serve God in His nature of being a constant life giver, a constant animator, a constant refresher, a constant renewer, because that is His nature, to restore, to refresh, to keep all these things going. And that's how you serve Him, in the capacity of showing that functionality. And so when you understand that, then you understand that God gave you this body of flesh, and for this body of flesh, what did He give you? He gave you this whole creation outside of you that feeds you in the three solid states that I call you. The three states of water are like there's the liquids, the solids, liquids, and vapor. That's how you find water. But also in the way that He feeds us with solid things, as fruits and vegetables, and then He also feeds you with liquid, with water, milk, honey, wine, all these things, that juices that you can get, and also with the vapor, okay, with the air. The air is the number one food that He gave you. So to have this whole thing to take care of this body, you have air, you have the light that falls into the ground, onto the plants, the photosynthesis takes place, so that the plants grow, and the plants are able to provide the food for the body, and also provide purification for the air and purification for the water. That's what trees do. The trees are magnificent in that way. They can do everything for that. So then you can see this whole thing, just to take care of the flesh. He made this whole environment that takes care of itself with insects and worms, and everyone doing its part to collect whatever is missing, whatever is so wasteful here, other insect picks it up to use it, and it goes all in the rhythm of life to keep the whole system, the whole food chain for this flesh going. That's how perfect God made it. Why did He make this whole thing, which He did not ask you to participate? He did not ask you to come and work in the factory of air, or work in the factory for the waters, or in the trees or anything. He just made them all for you to take care of the flesh. Why? And then He made you out of His divine spark, out of the nature of His breath and spirit. So like He will say to you and us, what God is saying is, just like I created everything to take care, this whole creation, I made it capable with the air, the water, and the solids in there. I made it capable of taking care of your flesh. I want the soul, this divine spark that's coming out of me, for that soul to be able to be all of that to my word. All that this world is to your flesh, I want your soul to be all of that to the Torah. In other words, you're going to be heir to the Torah. You're going to be a tree that purifies the Torah. You're going to be a water that renews and restores the Torah. You're going to be all these elements, because that's what I am. I made all of this for you, and now your soul has the capacity to be all of that to my word. Because in doing so, we are always in continual fellowship. I give you all to the flesh, you learn from it, and you become all of that to my word. And if we are doing that, we are in symbiotic relation. We are jiving. We are in the same dance together. You understand what I'm saying? Does it make sense? In other words, the soul, that's what the soul is, okay? The soul goes to a job, to work in any company. They give you the manual. They have patent in the patent office. Of course, they give it to you so you learn how to run everything. And then what you become to that company, you become a heaven and an earth. In which way you become a heaven? Because in heaven you find the elements that keep everything alive 24/7, like the air is in the heavens, the clouds are in the heaven, the waters come down from the heaven. All these elements, the light, all of those keep the life of the planet 24/7 going. And so when you know the manual of a book, you know the definitions, you know the meaning, you keep the product alive and the service alive 24/7 because you generate it. And so you take on the ability to be a heaven to that company. And also you take the ability to be a soil. What's the job, the functionality of the soil is? To allow the seed that is planted in it to grow and bring out the pure produce. And so what do you become? You become this land, this soil, because you take on the idea, as a seed. That was an idea in the corporate owners, man, that put it in that book, you take it in, you plant it inside of you, and voila, the product goes out. You behave like soil. So you become an earth and heaven. Whatever God has created outside for the care of our flesh, that's what our soul can do for the care of the word. You understand? That is perfect. It's a perfect symbiotic relationship. That's how perfectly we're made. That's why the soul has the ability to transcend and go beyond this body. It can experience different can have an expansion of consciousness. You can see things from a different perspective. Not just tied up and cooped up in this body. You can take on the understanding of, man, I can function like air in the care of the word. I can function like the heaven in the care of the word. I can function like the mountains, to protect all of that. I can function like the trees to purify the word. Like the leaves of the tree, when the leaves of the tree dried up, those dried trees, they intoxicate the water, they purify the water. And while those leaves are alive, they purify the air. This is an amazing thing about the tree. So you can be a tree like that. Through the manual, that's what you become. So everything that you see out there, all of our souls are able to do that. That's how we encompass and we come in fellowship with all that God can do. You don't have to go sit inside of a little cave and meditate because all that life is just you sitting there humming, I'm going to unite myself with the God this way. No, the Torah connects you with everything. Just like I'm telling you. See, I'm connecting you with the Torah. I'm connecting you with how God connects with everything. He made you with a body of flesh and with a whole environment that takes care of this body of flesh. So you'll understand. Now you have a soul. You're going to be able to do all of that to my word. You're going to be a heaven to my word. You're going to be a tree of life to my word. You're going to be a soil, a land that, a budding land, not a burial ground, like a consumer that also sees the product. You're going to be a budding ground means you produce products and services. There's life coming out of you every step of the way. Every part of you is oozing with life and animation. And that's why we're going to read right now, is to take us to Ecclesiastes, the book of the preacher. We're going to read chapter 7, verse 29. All right? Ecclesiastes 7:29. You think they have the words in here?
Yeah, but probably go from the beginning now.
Okay, then never mind. Because, you will start there, you won't start there. You got it right, never mind. I'm just going to read myself. Ecclesiastes 7:29 says, Lo, this only have I found, that God hath made men upright, but they have sought out many inventions. So in this chapter, Solomon is saying, I have discovered this. God hath made men upright. Now I'm going to be trying to go to the King James Plus so we can see the Hebrew word behind upright. So I'm going to take a little bit to get there so all the way perfect. Okay, to the word upright. All right, and that's the Hebrew word for Yashar. It has the Yud, okay, it has the Shin, and it has the Resh. That's 3 letters. Yud is for the hand that works, the hand that has the arm that has the little hand, that's for work or worship or the work of your hands. And then shin is for the front teeth. The function of the teeth is to adhere, to compress something, to eat, consume, assimilate, and adhere. Clasp onto something. And the resh starts for the main thing because it's the highest part of your head. It means importance, first of all, and also means resh. Okay, or what I call the reshit, the female head, the head of a woman, which stands for wisdom. So, Yasar, which means that God made man Yasar. What does that mean? He made man able to operate, to adhere to his wisdom. Be able to work, to adhere to his wisdom. That's how he made it. Because every person that works in the capacity of a creator and hires you for the company, that's what they want you to do. They want you to do the work to adhere to what they came out with, the idea. And that's why they hire you, because you're perfect for that. You understand what I'm saying? Every company hires you because you're perfect to do Yasar. You're perfect to do the work, to grab onto and stay in the same page with me. Grab onto what I'm thinking about. And so that's how God made man. He made him able to operate so that he holds on to what is in the mindset of his boss. And our first boss was, the other bed, the father. So we can do that. We can get into the owner's manual and never abandon that. And that's what they all expect you to do. The company doesn't expect you to take none of the products home with you. Just take all the words that tell you how to make the products. That's yours. That is your inheritance. But you dare not touch a product. That's what the stupid consumer doesn't know how to make it. That's how it is with every company. The product is everything for those that are ignorant, but you have the knowledge. That's your inheritance. You inherit the alphabet. You inherit the father, the one that came up with that idea and gave birth to that product and service. So all companies remind you of this verse every time after time. They hire you because you're able to do the job of holding onto their mindset. And that's what the word jasar means. You see, upright. You make correct, you will make the other word for that is straight. You don't deviate because you stay in the same frequency, the same tune. You don't go your own way because that's the whole idea. You go work for a company, we're going to walk in the same path. We're going to do the same thing. If you're going to do your own thing, that's conflict of interest, you're fired. You're not working for us. That's exactly the same thing we got. Okay? So we're looking at everything here from the high perspective. Okay? Because that's the whole idea. We have the ability in the Torah to rise above our circumstances, and especially with the testimonies. The testimonies are each letter that tells you the functionality. And that's how I teach you guys. I teach you with the functionality because that's what a creator is interested in, you knowing how you need to function to walk in the mindset of your maker. Because that's what he made us for. And to always be in the same page, and that's what the Torah leads us to. And that's my way of teaching you is to stay in the Torah, because that's the whole idea of the Torah. T, the tab, the vav, the resh, and I put the aleph in there, even though it's not in the original, but I put it in there because it's in the sound, and the hey. Okay? The commitment to connect mainly, to the fortification of his breath. That's what the Torah is, the commitment to connect mainly, which means down to the head, or most of all, first of all, with the mindset of the strong animation. The hair is at the end. So that means we inherit the nature of where we came from. We came out of the breath, and we stay in the breath, in the functionality of the breath. So that's what the Torah is, to take us back, so that we stay hooked up from our source and we never deviate from that. So that's the whole idea of being in the Torah. So I'm giving you from the standpoint of view of how it starts first. So you have to understand that, because if you're not doing that, then you do things backwards. Then you become a harot. That means you're remote. It rhymes with remote. You can be remote controlled by somebody else. Because if the Torah is not controlling you, somebody else gives you a narrative of why you exist. They give you the alphabet according to their books, not to the Torah. So you know that you have to be a slave. You come into this world thinking, I am nothing right now. But I'm going to apply myself. I'm going to believe in myself. And then I'll be somebody. Stupid people don't know. That's the only way they can go. But with the Torah, you don't begin, with who you are. You begin with who God is. You begin with the alphabet. The alphabet made everything. But this external world took 6 days without either one of us present there to do this whole nice environment of the water, the air, the lands, the birds, the animals, the whales, everything else working in synchronicity to keep a perfect environment for the care of all flesh. And then he decided to put a spark of the divine, to breathe himself into you. And in order for you never to depart from the source from which you came, he provided the Torah. So you will always be attached to the nature of breath. You know, that's why this Torah is, you know, is a task, is the is the commitment to connect to the mindset of constant, of a strong animation of life. You know, the strong animation of the breath. So you stay spiritual. Because this is the generation that's talking about, you know, we need to be spiritual. We need to think of the planet. We need to think of this and that. You know, that's fine if you want to think like that, because the air is everywhere taking care of the whole planet. That's what the air does. So you want to be spiritual, means perfect. Go ahead and do it. But who's going to guide you if you don't have the Torah? You know, who's going to tell you how to acquire that mindset, to stay in the functionality of the air and enjoy that process? So that's why if you're not in the Torah, you're not Torah control, then you become a Harlot, control, remote control by somebody else's narrative. I mean, the one that trains you to use the alphabet, they give you a narrative of why you are there in that society, and then you grow according to their teachings. And there's something outside of you that's going to validate. There's some pay outside of you. Now, when you're on the Torah, you're not doing everything because you're getting paid to get anything out of this world. You're getting everything because you have a power source, and you can't wait to show off all the power source can do. It can take care of this, it can take care of that, it can reveal God this way, it can teach this and that. That's all the reasons why you do everything for your kids. Everybody becomes your kids in this world. You're not here, for example, from the Torah, I don't see anybody here that's trying to, that can give me something, really, you know. Everybody in the world, I'm there like my children. I'm there to feed you, you know, physically with food like we did earlier. You can see all the food that we ordered from 3 different places today. You know, we had from Pollo Campero, we have from the Versalles Cuban, and we also had church chicken. We haven't had that in a long time. So all of that here, you know, and I give it to my kids for free. I don't charge them anything. I don't ask for any donations or anything like that. Because why? I can't wait to show off my Father who works mightily in me. That's my motivation. And you're never going to see me, since I started the ministry, I'm going to be asking for any money. Because the money and the pay of this world is not my motivator. The currency for being in the mindset of the Father is the alphabet. And I got plenty of that. I'm an alphabetonaire. And you cannot do me better than that. You know what I'm saying? Warren Buffett cannot do me better than that. Bill Gates cannot even come close, you know, to scratching my feet when it comes to that. You know? So they are far away from the purpose for which they were created. Okay? And so the other thing you are made to do, you are remote control, or I call it harlot. I put a little L there, harlot. You know what a harlot means, right? It's a prostitute that gives her love for pay. In other words, anybody that is in this world that is motivated to do anything, because this world is going to give you something to reward you, you are a harlot. Period. You're not in the Torah. You're either remote controlled by a government or a religion that is going to give you something in return for your efforts, you know, or you're a harlot. Plain and simple. You give your love. You have the alphabet in you. You know how to take care of people or pretend that you love them. You can do all that because you have the alphabet in you that teaches you this thing. So you are empowered by the alphabet, but you give all of this on a condition of the pay. You know? So it doesn't matter if it's just the green dollars, but whether you do everything because you're going to get that promotion. See, you enter in this world. You are trained that you are empty. That's the mindset, that's the brainwashing that you're given. That you're empty because you don't have the external things of this world, okay? The externalities, you know, the big pool, the big Rolls Royce, you know, the Corvette, you know, all these fancy cars, all these Tesla, all these things. You have not access to that yet. You're so poor. You're nothing. But you can apply yourself. You can work hard. You can do all of this, and you can be able to get it, you know. And then you go and you do everything, and that is going to be your pay. That's going to be the reward of your effort. And they teach you that that is normal. You know, and so you grow like that, and I never question that. You go through this whole life, and you think, you know, even though you felt empty all your life, but the time that you get that success, you got accolades, that applause for your efforts, you say, go, you're a go-getter, they give you all of this, that's when you feel satisfied. So you know, you just became a good harlot. You know? According to the scriptures, you know, I'm not, you know, but this world trains you that it's okay. Okay? Do you think that's why God does everything? Imagine God doing, I want all this so I can get paid. I can get the creatures. He's doing all of that because He made us in His image. And we are not going to be completely satisfied until we are able to do that, people. Until we are able to freely give all that He has given us. So that we are this conduit. We're this open, channel in which He's just flowing. And the more He flows out of you, that's the more you enjoy His presence. That's the more you are, there's great, in the presence of God, there's abundance of joy in the presence of God. And you start and then there's no stopping you guys, Because like I'm saying, I started with this thing, giving money away, and what has been happening, they have given me all more over time, and then the bonuses have been going up, and then so the more the bonuses go up, the more my prices I give away go up, because and what God does is, well, this guy is enjoying my giving nature, so He just keeps pouring it out of me, and pouring out this so I could continue to be a giver. He has made it so, like I was explaining earlier to the group, since 2005 that I've been on my own, I've only paid for all the places that I've been $500 a month. Some places I've been just to one room, or like a garage area, Finally here for the last 3 years, or maybe 4 years now, I've been here at my sister's place. It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath here in LA. And you know how the prices of rent are going there. In LA it's not, but still here, the whole thing costs $500 here. And that covers the whole rent because my sister had this for the last 20 something years. She has got this lease here that doesn't move up. So I was able to get it for $500. So I covered the whole $500 for this whole thing, 2-bedroom apartment. So how many get deals like that? But the reason why God prepared that deal for me, because He wants to keep me in the giving mode. Because I don't stop the giving mode. I just keep on giving and giving. So God says, I'll make it simple, not to worry about rent, not to worry about this. So He makes it easy for me. So I continue to be in the giving mode, no matter what salary I get. Because that's what I enjoy, the giving mode. Because I am not a harlot. I am not promoted to do things by anything that this world has to offer me. I'm already complete in my Maker. I'm already complete in the owner's manual that tells me you have to use the alphabet at the most highest potential to be of care of everybody, to show the Father that is in me. And so everybody that teaches you, gives you an upbringing, because all of us, like I said, are forced to go to the alphabet, but not to learn the character of the Father, but to be a slave in these societies in which the result and the rewards of your efforts in this society become your pay. So you're only trained to be a harlot. So we're living in the times of the great harlot, and it's been like that for a long time. You understand? Almost from the beginning of creation, that's what is called abodasara, foreign service to God. You don't do worship and service to God by taking on something and behaving like a harlot. That's what you talk about. You see Jeremiah, you went and played a harlot under the tree. You did everything for reward in this world. God complains that after that, you went out and abandoned me and you go and play the harlot. You fell in love with their rewards. You fell in love with their systems that tells you how you're going to be somebody in this world. Okay? But that's what we hear to tell you. So God made man, like they say. So that's the Solomon recognizes that. God made man Yasar. Right? That means able to operate, to adhere to the mindset of the Maker. He made him capable to do that. That's why we're always capable of being hired anywhere that we go. The little bit of alphabet that you understand how to read a manual, you are ready to work. You're Yasar. But basically you were made to do this to learn the Torah and meditate on it day and night. So you will understand His mindset and you will be in the joy of the functionality of being air. The air, or being waters, or being heaven, or being a soil, everything to the care of the word that is in you, that it will not suffer harm. Okay? But we forgot that, so we were put reverse. The backwards of that, so I'm doing how to play on words so I can preach my message, but you become Harlot or remote control, because people control you outside, they can only get, because you don't have any understanding what you have, the treasure. That's why people are ignorant of the treasure that they have within them. Who they are, in that completeness of the Maker. To understand, we're going to look at a perfect man. We're going to go to Noah. the life of Noah in Genesis chapter 6. Okay. Now let me see here. Right, where it says that God saw. What the part we're talking about Noah was a perfect just man. Okay, that's in verse 9. Now was just, yeah, okay. Let's go to verse 7. Start from verse 7. Says, and the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have. No, let's go to verse 6 to make more sense. Genesis 6:6, yeah. Is that one? Let's go to verse 5. Yeah, you can put it regularly right now. Because you're going to read it right now. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, that's good. Alright, perfect. Verse 5. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Verse 6. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. It was like cut up, because man is cut up in his thing that he's doing right now, like he's cut up right now. He's good for all the remote control. I mean, people telling you, how you are in this world to do. This is remote control thinking. It's not Torah thinking. So he's happy to be in there and happy to be controlled by other people, but except the Torah, So I don't know how that went. In any case, thank you. And he repented the Lord that he had made. Yeah, I want to read that. And it grieved him at his heart, verse 7. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast. It says, and the creeping things and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made him. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Now, let's go to the Hebrew now. Change it to when we go verse 8 first here. Okay. Now, where it says, what Noah found, go to the word Noah first. But Noah, okay. Noah comes from 2 letters. All right. Keep the Hebrew on top there. That's the noon, or we call the end. The noon is for continuity, or the seed or generation. And the het, right? And that is for the wall or the defense, the secure system. Okay? So his name means the generation of the defenders, or the one that's secure, or the seed of those that will secure something, that will be the head that also represents a defense city, like a city that has all walls around it, like the president wanted to have a border wall, that he wants to have a head, protect our nations, from invaders. But the whole idea of the head is to have a wall that secures you, from all predators coming in. So his name means the seed of the ones that protect, or the protected seed, you could say, because he took on the noon is the seed or the generation. He took on the knowledge of God, and he protected it. That's what he kept inside. He kept it guarded, And so, because he was that way, he lived up to that name. He took the seed, the understanding that God had given him, and he was protecting it. He was like a walled-up city against that anything coming to take away that mindset from him. So then, the next verse 8, it says, found. Now, not found grace. Now, look at the word grace. Okay. Now, on the word grace, we have the same 2 letters, but in reverse. We have the het, the wall first, and then we have the noon, because as you spell noon, you put it like. So they have the 2 letters, but in reverse. And the noon was first, and then the het, and now grace. And this is the first time that the word grace is mentioned in the Bible. Then it's mentioned after that. But the first time that God mentioned the word grace, he mentioned it to say that I invented that word in honor of Noah. Because Noah, so no, it's like a mirror. A mirror is in reverse. And so the word grace, what does it mean? Look at that. It's not means it's not like in the Christian message. It says graciousness that is subjective, or kindness, or favor, or objectively beauty. You know, I think that's more below that. Objective, beauty, favor, grace, pleasant, precious. So he saw something precious. He saw something beautiful in the midst of all these things, because God was looking at mankind, and everybody was acting like a harlot, that means remote control, or harlot. You know, promoted to do what they do because of the rewards of this world, or following their own narrative of their own mind. But here he was, this man. Only had this word that he has received, you know, from his forefathers, from Adam on down to the people that were righteous in his generation, and that's all he kept. And he guarded that preciously. You know, so he had the seed and he preciously guarded. He was like a walled city, you know, a secure, safeguarding city to this seed, to this thing that he carried. And so that God just took that as a mirror image. And he called that grace. That's something beautiful. And besides that, the fact that another thing that made him so beautiful to God is that in the midst of these people just wanting pleasures of this life and wanting to indulge in all these things of this world, you know, because that's how the wickedness is, that you don't listen, you're no longer of use to the mindset of God, you're used to the mindset of all the other companies, like people in the world right now. All the corporations, they're good for any corporation, they go to work, but the only thing they're not good for is for the Torah. They don't have the mindset to be in the functionality of bread. So when God looks upon the generation right now, there are very few that are the seed that have the word, the original word of God, and they are the one protecting and making sure nothing happens. There are very few that are Noahs, that have that functionality. Because that's what God looked at. He was living up to his name. He had the seed that was protected. And that seed was what he got, you know, from the Torah, from the understanding of who God is. And he was complete in that. You know, now we're going to see that in a minute here. So the reverse of that is beautiful. But another thing that he got going for him is in the midst of this, he had 3 kids. You know what I'm saying? He's that generation when there's plenty of pleasure, you know, you might have a couple of kids, like right now, a couple of kids and a dog, you know. That's about it. You know, a little picket fence, the American dream, is just a waste of society. Because you have to have 3 or more kids to really advance a society. Okay? You can have 2 kids, one replaces the wife, one replaces the husband, 2 kids. But when you have a 3rd one, you're contributing to the growth of the world. You're going outside of yourself. So he was one of those. He had 3 kids in the midst of a generation that was just thinking. But the fact is, when everybody was on, believing yourself, doing your own thing, you know, getting to your own thing, do the best in this world to get ahead and all these things. When he was thinking like that, he had 3 kids that were able to follow him. You understand? How hard it is to even get teenagers to listen to you these days? You know, you have an idea, how the hell, you know, you don't know, you're not into the new wave, you don't understand how things are, mom and dad, you're old fashioned, blah, blah, blah. You know, but he had 3 old kids that were listening to him. I wanted to join him in his venture. You know, what did that tell you, all these characters? He was like, day in and day out, pumping, you know, the Torah, according to the understanding of how complete we are with God, so they will not be ravished and taken by the mindset of this society. So that was something precious to God, to see that here's this man. He completed me, and he's passed it on to his next generation. I can trust this for the next world to come. I can wipe everything out because everybody else is useless to me. You know, they're just destroying the world anyhow because I only want to be consumers. So God is getting rid of the cucarachas, you know. He's getting rid of the termites. He's going to leave the ones that are going to keep his mindset going. So that's what the precious thing about Noah, that's in the midst of their generation, that was, you know, caught up into doing their own thing and everything. Here he was. God invented the word grace just because of him. And then after that it's used there all the time. But that's the first time that it's used because of him. The word grace, you know. And because it was something beautiful that God saw in him. And so let me keep going. So he found grace. He found a mirror image of himself. Because that's who God is. God has this. And when God tells you, thou shalt love the Lord thy God, you know, that we see the Aleph bed, you're going to put yourself in the middle of it, like I said, the little hay guy in the middle of the Aleph of the bed, that's what love is. And you're going to be concerned with that. You're going to love the Lord thy God with all thy mind, with all thy soul. Because whenever God tells you that, because that's what he cares for. That's the first thing that God does. When a creator of a company or corporation asks you to work and take care of his manual, guess what? He loves that manual. That's what he patented. He himself loves that manual. Because out of that manual, his product and service is rendered. So what he's asking you to do is asking you to do the same thing that he does. He takes care of it. He patented. That's why he shows you that he loves it. So I want you to love it just the same way I do. And if you do love the manual the same way I do, you follow the order in it, you're going to have a job with me here. You're going to get the rewards, you know, you're going to get the pay and everything here for this company. That's what they do. You know, they are not forced. No owner of a company is forced to hire anybody that says, I'm not going to follow your manual, but you're still going to have to pay me. The hell with you. You're fired, my man. You know, why are you coming with a stupid idea? You know? But that's the way with the welfare system. They think, just because I exist, I'm entitled to have money. You know? But the thing is, the real deal is that it doesn't work in the world of production. Okay? So we got told to, thou shalt love the Lord, this manual. It's because that's what he went precisely to give, and that's what he loves. He loves his word and the order of it, and he asks you to be in that same word and order of it. Otherwise, you're going to be kicked out. And that's what every owner of a company does. Because you're not able to produce what is the mindset of the maker. You're not in his mindset in the same page. Okay? So whenever anybody has you to think that it's the way around, that God isn't somehow indebted to you. There's a lot of religions out there, including Christianity, that will have you think this way, that God will love you no matter what. He will come. You were the last sinner on earth. He will come because he loves you so much. Okay? So that means God, by that confession, you're saying that God is going to love mankind with all his heart, with all his mind, and with all his soul, and not going to let him, get lost. So here, the Creator is bowing down to a creature, saying, I don't care how bad you are, I don't care what, I'm going to be there to preserve you. They just turn it around. No owner of any company does stupid thing like that. But there's religion that will have you think that way, reversing the order of God. God does not worship his creature. The creature has to worship his maker. God does not have to follow the word of the one that is lost. The lost is to follow the word of the one that guides him. Or you are fired. That will happen to Adam. Want to follow his instruction? The hell you're here. You're fired. Was fired from the garden. Still mercy was given to him because Torah came in and they were teaching that he could follow and get back in his path. But you are not following the instructions of any company. You're in a conflict of interest. You have the right to be fired. And that's how the order of things are. Okay? So this man knew how to do that. Had a perfect understanding of that. Had a character that reflected that. Had kids that were listening to him. Oh, God was in love with this guy. He invented the word grace after him. And so we're going to read verse 9. It says, these are the generations of Noah. And they talked about his kids. Here, Noah was a just. Look at the word just there, 6662. All right, that is Sadiq. All right, this is equivalent of what the Catholic Church calls a saint or a holy person in the Protestant Church. The holy person was Sadiq. Okay, but Sadiq, comes from the Zate. That's the first letter there. Then the Dalet, and then there's the Yud for the hand that works, and then the Kuf. The Kuf is for the sun and the horizons, from sun to sun. So that means for the Sade is the path of the journey of the sire. So the journey of the sire for the administration of the work, of his operations from morning to evening. So you have the desire, to be in the administration of the work of his hands, because the Yud is the work of his hands. The work of his hands is verity and judgment, the Torah, right? From morning to evening, that makes you separated just to God. That, like, for example, I start at 5 and finish it at 6. So from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday to Saturday practically, my whole being is separated. It's set aside for Language Line Solutions. That's the company that I work to translate. And I'm there. And all of that, from morning to evening, I am just separated for this company, doing my work for them, set aside. That's what a Sadiqi means. But here it is in the case of the Torah. You take in the Torah and you take it 24/7. This book of the law, this book of the Torah, shall not depart out of thy mouth, for thou shalt meditate therein day and night, 24/7, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For what reason? For then thou shalt make your way, words and yearnings. Thou shalt make your way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Your words and yearnings that you're going to be in you are going to be aligning with God. I'm going to be successfully matching Him and producing the product that He wants you to produce. You understand? So that is the whole idea. So that's why we have to do that. And it's 24/7, so we can be in that set. So that's the word sadikim. So he was sadikim, he was complete. Okay, and it says there, just or lawful or righteous man. And it occurs 206 times. So that's the whole idea. So, but then it says furthermore, verse 9 says, but just man and perfect. Look at the word perfect. Alright? Perfect starts with a tab, which means the same word that the Torah started with, tab, or the commitment, the contract. And it has the mem, okay, for solutions. And it has the yud again, the little work of his hands, and then solutions. Alright? So tamim, this tamim, that's the word perfect, tamim. It means you're committed to the solutions, working solutions. That's how you're going to be perfect. If you're just committed to use the solution, that means you're committed to use the Torah no matter what, because the Torah is the solutions to understand the mindset of God, and then you go back to it every time you're not sure. So it means then when you're committed to the solutions, the workout solutions, you're perfect. That means you're an integral person. Nothing else that is needed outside of you. You cannot be bought because you know what economy you were made for. You were made for the economy of understanding the breath of God and then staying in the nature of with the neshama, staying in the nature of the breath of God and never departing from it. And you have to understand that only the Torah offers those solutions, and you never go away and outside from the Torah. That what makes you perfect. Okay, I see the meanings there? Entire. You are wholesome in the Torah. You don't need anything else outside of it. It says also as integrity, truth, without blemish, complete, whole, all of that. That's what we Tamaim, but that's what makes you Tamaim. Because you go work for a company, they only want you to follow the manual of that company. Let's say you're working for a Nissan company. They give you the manual for Nissan. And all of a sudden you show one day, you come up with your Toyota manual into the Nissan. What the heck you doing? Hey, that's not the manual we give you here. We'll file a conflict of interest. Okay? You cannot bring in, you cannot say, I'm going to Torah, I'm going to follow New Testament here. Hey! I'm going to be, what they call it, the Muslim Quran? What they call the Bible, Muslim? Quran. Okay, the Quran here. You cannot be one and the other. The Torah is all that is needed to be in the mindset of the maker. You do not present any other half-cut, half-hash, and whatever little things sliced here and there put together, little monster of a Frankenstein of a narrative that doesn't work to put you in the mindset of God. Only the Torah is forever. Alright? And all these people, that's what they have. And so that's what means. So he was a Sadiq, okay, which means righteous, or separated just for the work of the Torah, and he was complete in the Torah, never departing from it, entire and wholesome in that. And that's what it is to be upright, like it says in, like we were talking about at the beginning in Ecclesiastes 7. Because once you understand that you're upright, that your economy is all about never getting away from the character of God and enjoying, showing Him off, because that's what a father does, and sacrificing everything because that's how God gets to brag about He's a father. He just keeps taking care of things, renewing, restoring, refreshing, making and maintaining. That's how He shows off Himself. Okay? But those that want to be, that are able to do things, but they are prompted to do a thing, they're encouraged because of the rewards in this world, because they pay either for money or for recognition, whatever it is that you get out of this world, you're nothing but a harlot. And that's not the training of the Torah. Okay? So that's why you have to repent from. You understand? Because once you are in the mindset of the Torah, where He has placed me now, nobody. Because nobody's going to be, unless you can take the Torah away from me or make it disappear, which He has proven that it cannot be done. Because all during this whole time, from the time He was being given, there have been empires after empires that have wanted to destroy that, but He has continued to prevail throughout the Jewish people, throughout the whole world. That book is still going around, and it's proven itself that God knows how to take care of His word. So if somebody can destroy that, then you will have me checking in my books, because that's my only source for being in my own economy, my only economy, which is your economy too, which means in the breath of God and understanding His mindset and staying there. That's the only thing that will make me shake. But everything else can go to hell, as far as I'm concerned. You know, it does. I mean, and I'm going to show you right now. Let's turn to the book of Psalm, verse 46. I share this when the president here, there's, you know, this representing of the donkeys, you know, the Hamor. That means donkey.
It's in the Bible.
But the we have the donkey that won this year when there was the 46 presidents. So I remember reading this to you. Okay, let's put it in the, without the things first, just the regular writing. I'm going to read it here. It's a very short one. But look at what it says. Pay attention. Okay, this is a song of Alamon. The songs of Korah. This is not a song of David, but it's very interesting. It's in the song there. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. So what it's saying, God is our refuge. That refuge will be like a place or a abode where we're hiding, you know, our shelter where we live, you know, and strength. That means that which motivates us and encourages us to stay in our economy. So we have a place where we are being sustained, you know, that is the Aleph, guided by the Torah. That's our manual that keeps us in the, you know, in the economy of revealing Him. That has not changed, and we have the strength and encouragement to do that. A very present help in trouble. Okay. Now, verse 2. Therefore, will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. You know, Selah. Let's think on this. So what I can tell you, so what I just tell you, I don't care that everything goes to hell. My economy has not changed. The fact that God is who He is, and He's prompted to do what He is, because He is love and nothing else. There's nothing in this world, reward or treasure or fame or anything that causes Him to be who He is, but the fact that He is the source of everything, and He shows that He is a Father because He makes it, He maintains it, and He sustains it. That's my strength. That's my motivation. You know, and whatever is going in the world, it can go to hell. As far as I'm concerned, you have not been to scratch the surface of my economy for which I exist. See, that's the thing. Is like you're so complete. You're a wholesome unit in your Maker. There is Ehad in you. There's oneness. There's unity. You and your Maker are a universe, are one word, and nothing else can take that away from you. See, that's what the Torah establishes you with. For those that are Harot or remote, they are easily frightened by any stupid news outside of the Torah. Because you live for the rewards of this world. You know, you're taken by the rewards of this world. So, isn't that beautiful? I mean, and then he says, then he talks about something here. And this is here, this is spiritual language. Okay? This here, after Selah, he says, there is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. God is in the midst of her, who are on that city. She shall not be moved. God shall help her, and that right early. The heathen rage. The kingdoms were moved. He uttered His voice, and the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Come, behold the works of the Lord, what desolations He hath made in the earth. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow, and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. So we're looking at the God of Jacob, the one whose name was changed to Israel, prince with God, a leader with God. That's what we have. We have an economy that identifies with His nature. We were made out of the breath of God, and we stay behind the nature of the breath. We do not abandon it because the Torah takes us back to the source from which we came from. Okay? And so that's the bar, when you understand. The mitzvah. See, the mitzvah is the solutions. You know, the solutions, the mitzvahs, the solutions, you know, to the, you know, to connect. For those looking to connect, you know, those, the solution for the strong desire to connect to the breath. Okay, so when we have the solution, means there's that river. We have the mitzvahs. We have that solutions that leads us to the city of God, you know, to the Beth, to the diagram of God, you know, to that defense city. You know, so this is all a spiritual language talking about what the Torah is to us. Because we have the variant. I explained to you that the word Davar, you know, there's a lot of language of it in the Bible that people don't understand because they don't read the Hebrew. What Davar means Dalet, Beth, Resh. Okay? Dalet means door or gate or entrance. Beth means diagram or house or building. You know, and Resh means the rulers or the one that's ruling everything. Or the one that is in charge, the one that's above, you know, the one on top, the top dog. So the entrance, you know, to the diagram, or to the house, or to the kingdom, because that's also of the rules. Now, even interesting thing, you will hear this thing in the New Testament. Nobody picks up on it, because it says, "Thou shalt not enter into the kingdom of God." That's the spelling of Davar right there. The entrance, Dalet, kingdom, is the word Basileia, which was the house of where they made all the rules, and the God is the ruler. So Davar. Okay, those that are not swallowed up in Him are not able to understand His word. That's the kingdom. To enter into the kingdom of God. That's the spelling of Davar. But if you don't know the letters, you don't understand. So all this language, there's a lot of language that has to do with the spelling of the letters here. We're looking at mitzvah in here. We're looking at the word Davar. You know, there's even the word. I can see Noah there because of the city that is guarded, you know, of the continuity. There's all kinds of things if you run into the letters of the word and the testimonies, but you understand what the Torah is for us inside of us. Because at the end of the day, my friends, the whole world, the real world in His, it's not this physical environment that you see. It's not all those houses and all those buildings, all those cars, and all those traffic lights, and all those banks and everything. All those things that you see out there, they come in from people that are holding that knowledge inside of them. And they know it inside of them. They know the real diagram. They know the real measurements that allow those things to continue to be projected into this world. So at the end of the day, everything outside in the world is only a projection of what the soul keeps within. The real city, the real bank, the real everything is in the souls of all humanity that is projecting it out there. And there's no denying that. It's not like He just came out of a sudden and manifested Himself. Oh, that bank wasn't there yesterday. How did He come today? No, it doesn't happen that way. People have to swallow it in, adhere to this, do the yasar, you know, do the work of being committed to the mindset of the boss, and then voila, buildings come out, cars are formed, cities are put together, roads are made, you know. But at the end of the day, it is the word inside of us that is that great city that causes perpetuity, causes newness, causes everything to continue to exist. And that's what the Torah opens your understanding to. Okay, so that's why you understand that's why we have that comfort. Now I'm going to finish with Isaiah chapter 40. Isaiah chapter 40 is a good way to finish. The word Noah, by the way, means rest or comfort. That means in the midst of all of this, God found comfort when He saw Noah. Because there was a place, that was a soul in which he actually felt at home. You know, He was made that soul to identify with His breath, and there He found a soul that could actually do that. And that was actually doing that. And God felt at home. He felt comfortable inside of the neshama, the soul, you know, of Noah. And that's why He kept him, because he was the only one functioning, you know, for His purpose. All right? So here we go, the word comfort ye, being some sort of Noah again. The word Noah is being used here. You're going to comfort my people. Naham, I believe, is the word Naham, which Naham also is the word for comfort. The one talking about Naham, close to Noah. But Naham, all of that's comfort. That's that relationship with Noah. Comfort ye, my people, comfort ye. Say, your God, speak ye comfortably. You mean, speak like, you know, like the way Noah brought me comfort. Speak like that to them. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, But this is the interesting, I like the way God does things. It's like the world is afraid that, oh, we're going to lose my house. I'm going to lose, my business. I'm going to lose, this college is closing. There goes my education. All these things are being lost. But the way that God does things, I find is very fascinating. It's like, say, don't worry, I'm going to keep those things. No, don't worry. Oh, you think that's bad? Look at even worse is going to happen now. Then we say, but it's not going to bother you. Because I'm going to put you in a different mindset, in a different economy. That's what he's getting at here. I'm just preparing you ahead of time. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, for she has accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, for she has received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. Is you're going to receive, that word double just means an abundance. All the stuff that you lost in your sin, you're going to get so much abundances. The voice of him that cried in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be exalted. This is the shifting here, the great reset. The values of the people, hold low are going to be put high, and the values of the people hold high are going to be put low. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. And the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. The voice said, cry, and he said, why shall I cry? And this is the thing, I like this verse. All flesh is grass, and all the goodliness thereof is as the flower of the field. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, because the Spirit, the breath of the Lord bloweth upon it. Surely the people is grass. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, but the word, the bar of our God. Was it the bar? The entrance into the kingdom of heaven. The bar of our God shall stand forever. Our economy is not going anywhere. And that's the comfort. Understand, the comfort is that all the things that you have projected, all flesh, that means all this flesh, all that we have in this flesh is just like grass. The grass produces a little flower every now and then, and then it dies as the wind passes by. It stays maybe for a season, during springtime, and then it goes away. So, for all of that, God controls it. But guess what? Guess who's not affected by all of this? Just like in the previous chapter I read, Psalm 46. The mountains are removed, the seas are everything goes on there. But what is not affected by none of this is the wind. The wind remains the same. The Spirit doesn't change. It is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, for she has received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. Is you're going to receive, that word double just means an abundance. All the stuff that you lost in your sin, you're going to get so much abundances. The voice of him that cried in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be exalted. This is the shifting here, the great reset. The values of the people, hold low are going to be put high, and the values of the people hold high are going to be put low. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. And the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. The voice said, cry, and he said, why shall I cry? And this is the thing, I like this verse. All flesh is grass, and all the goodliness thereof is as the flower of the field. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, because the Spirit, the breath of the Lord bloweth upon it. Surely the people is grass. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, but the word, the bar of our God. Was it the bar? The entrance into the kingdom of heaven.
The Davar of our God shall stand forever. Our economy is not going anywhere. And that's the comfort. You understand? The comfort is that all the things that you have projected, all flesh, that means all this flesh, all that we have in this flesh is just like grass. The grass produces a little flower every now and then, and then it dies as the wind passes by. You know, it stays maybe for a season, you know, during springtime, and then it goes away. So, for all of that, God controls it. You know, but guess what? Guess who is not affected by all of this? Just like in the previous chapter I read, Psalm 46. You know, the mountains are removed, you know, the seas are everything goes on there. But what is not affected by none of this is the wind. The wind remains the same. The spirit doesn't change. The spirit is moving back and forth. And that is our heritage, my friends. The spirit and the neshama of God that is there to take care of all his businesses, of reflecting who he is, and give us access to his understanding, that the functionality, that is not moving anywhere. That's why. So at the end of the day, the comfort is all the things that the world has to look at, and they need to have them in front of their face to be sustained by them. You can say, goodbye, arrivederci. I know where I'm standing. You know, I know all of that is only a projection of the word inside of them. And at any time, God can take it away. But, you know, the entrance or the access to the kingdom of the ruler, the Torah, you know, is not going anywhere. That is forever. That's why it says the Torah is for all generations. So to have access to the Davar means to have entrance, to have an administration of the kingdom of heaven, which is the Torah, is not going to disappear. And that is the comfort, my friend. That is the Noah that I bring you at this hour. Because that's all that Noah had. What was he giving? I'm going to wipe the whole thing clean. I'm going to baptize all of it. Wash it up all clean. You know, but the administration of the word that you have taken in you, that is your seed, is not going anywhere. You are the one preserving it forever and ever, because the Torah of God is for all generations, and it has proven itself to be. Okay, so that is the comfort at this hour. You know, all the flesh, all of that is in the control of God, and all the goodness, all the things that can manufacture, you know, all of them can go into nothingness, just like the pyramids are left unattended, and what have you, and all the little marvels that have been created throughout all the ages. But the Torah is still going, nation after nation, wandering here and there, and still here to bring you this message at this hour through me. Okay, it has not disappeared. You know, the Davar of God, the entrance into the kingdom of the rules of the mitzvahs, is forever. Amen? All right. So we'll leave you with that. Let me close this thing. Ooh. All right. Oh, you recorded both of them? Okay. No, the other one stopped. All right, but this one... All right, my fellow Davarians, and that was it. So you can learn from the life of Noah, you know. Got the name Noah comes from noon, which stands for seed or generation, you know, a continuity. That's the noon, the N, or noon in Hebrew, and the chet, for the wall, for the fence, for something to keep you safe and preserve you. So the meaning of his name means rest. It meant comfort, because God found comfort in him, was the only soul that was living up to the purpose. Imagine that, of all the billions, that was billions upon billions. Because if you could live to be a 800, 900, man, you have plenty of kids. You're talking about the earth was saturated with billions upon billions. You know, maybe 10 times more billions than we have right now. See, 8 billion, maybe 10 times more. Because, you know, so that was quite, to find that he was the only one that felt complete in the word of his maker. That was quite a task. But you know that he was doing the work of the Ab, you know. He was doing the office of the Father. And how do you know that? Because for one thing, the word Noah, like I say, is a preserver of the seed, or the seed preserver, or the seed protector, or the seed defender, or the keeper of the seed, a generation's keeper. So he was keeping the seed, which means the word that was given in his generation, you know, which ended up in the in the Torah that was he was the keeper of. And God found great comfort in him. He was a vessel in which his mindset of being in the Spirit of God was in him 24/7. So he was perfect in his generation. Okay, and out of his name, it tells you there that when you turn it backwards, that's the word grace. God came out with that word first, with the life and the name of him. Because, he found something so beautiful. But he was doing the app in one sense. He had 3 kids. I told you, 3 kids, it's when you really populated the earth, because you have one to replace yourself and your husband, your husband, your wife. And then the third one is to contribute for the population of the whole earth. So he got 3 of them, and they were all obedient. And one way that you know that he was really doing the app, because I'm sure he was not getting any donations or investors to help him build the ark or coming there, because so he had to do his own. He had to build it. Maybe his only son, only his family helped him. No guarantee, but he built it. He didn't have any ways, because that will not fly. A message that we all gonna be, only you gonna be wiped out. People are not gonna contribute to that, and so there were no donators, or otherwise other people would have showed up. Okay, so there was no donations, there was no investors, so he had to do it on his own. So he had to pay for it, build it. Imagine by preparing all the food for all those animals in the ark without anybody giving you any money. So he was one of those who really enjoyed the spirit of being a father, to take care of everything, his family, guide him in the right directions, build everything on his own, take pride to show the Father in every which way, with the help of no one. And that's what we need to recapture again. That's what we lost, and that's what we need to become, vessels that, take the seed of the understanding of the mindset of God, and we keep it in ourselves, and we become that ehad, that strong house, that patent office that we were meant to be from the very beginning. So I hope you enjoy the message, but this is something beautiful to learn from the word, life of a righteous person, who was ready to start the world. That's about the thing. I notice people have the names, like even the female name, Noemi will be for female name, or Noah for male. But I notice a lot of people with that name, that they have the characteristic of being, they can start life over again no matter how bad things get to them. That's what Noah is. He started the whole world brand new. They have the ability to focus, put things aside, and then just go and start something new. Start a brand new life, start things the right way, refresh and restore. But that's the ability that Noah had. When you're the keeper of the seed, that means you keep the knowledge, you can be focused, you can do things. So that was the character of this guy, and we can see it manifested. So let's hope we become Noahs, so we can bring rest to the mindset of God. We can bring comfort, and that was a message of comfort for those of us that want to be connected to His Spirit. All right. Gusto tenerla para ti. Bendiciones también. Okay, saludos. All right. Okay, so all of you, I'm glad that you could join me. All right, Brianna, sorry to hear about the refrigerator, but you check on Zelle, see what you will find in there, and open up your messenger, because some blessings are on the way. I'm not going to say any further, but everybody, I'm glad that you were able to show. Rosa, good to have you too. Pati, Brianna, and everybody else that is watching from outside and are too shy. I'm glad you can join me. But let me just close with a little commercial, and let's go to, let me see here. All right, let's go to this. Oh yeah, let's go to this one.